Before you jump out to your sign, watch the first couple of minutes of this video because it's relevant to everybody. And there's some things that I'm just not going to repeat for every single sign. So what you want to do is watch the first couple of minutes of this video of Jupiter in Capricorn and then jump out to your sign. Maybe somebody, some kind person, will do timestamps and paste them below in the comments section so that you can find out where your sign is and go out there and watch your sun sign and or rising sign. For this particular placement, I'm a little bit on the fence of which one you want to watch more, so maybe you want to watch both. Of course, it's a little bit of work to put timestamps on the video, but as you'll see, it's a very generous thing to do and very much in the Jupiter and Capricorn sensibility. I am Armand Diaz with your forecast, and don't forget to visit armanddiaz.com where you can find other good stuff. Although nothing about Jupiter and Capricorn at the moment. Okay, so Jupiter and Capricorn. Jupiter is leaving his home sign of Sagittarius where he spent the last year, and he's going into Capricorn. And, you know, if Jupiter is the cosmic Santa Claus, then Jupiter in Capricorn is Santa Claus getting back home on Christmas morning after delivering his presents, and he's got to, you know, he's got to feed the reindeer, he's got to, you know, pay the elves, he's got to order supplies and pay for some of the, you know, the toy supplies that he got last year, and probably has to take Rudolph to the herbalist and see if we can get that nose sorted out and all of that type of thing. It's a little bit more of a worky kind of energy, and if you want to just keep a general thing in mind for Jupiter in Capricorn, it's this, it's you got to apply effort. And that's whatever we're talking about, you got to apply effort. And that's not very jovial. Jupiter likes to dispense riches just because you are, just because you're there. It's just a being thing, you know? You don't have to earn it. You just get it. That's Jupiter's rap on things. Jupiter in Capricorn, not so much. Jupiter in Capricorn is more about earning things, about getting what you deserve. Maybe it's Santa looking at the naughty and nice list. Anyways, it has that kind of energy. You're going to need to apply effort to things. Now, there's some good things about this this placement for Jupiter. First of all, Jupiter in Sagittarius is very much belief-based, and there's a real tendency for polarization with Jupiter in Sagittarius because we know, you know what's right, you know what's good. And you don't need anybody to tell you, you know, pesky things like facts and details and stuff like that. Jupiter in Capricorn, you're much more likely to have to bring some evidence. You're going to have to bring some goods to show that, yes, what I'm saying has some validity. So in that sense, it's pretty good. Jupiter in Sagittarius has an overall optimistic bent to it. It is taking a leap of faith. Jupiter in Capricorn is look before you leap. And that's not always a bad thing. That's not always a bad thing, especially Capricorn is Saturn's sign, and Saturn rules falls. So maybe sometimes you do want to look before you leap. And if that's the energy that pervades 2020, that's okay. The end of 2019, 2020, that's okay. A little bit of looking before you leap is kind of called for here. Or actually, you know, maybe it's not about leaping. It's about climbing. And it's about making the climb a little easier because Jupiter's in the sign. Now, for any sign, okay, you already know what the big issues are because Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. Saturn's been in since about 2017. You already know what the issues are, you see. And so Jupiter's coming along to lend a hand with these things. In some senses, it's a get out of jail free card. Some people will be getting out of jail for free. If you've been lifting a heavy load, Jupiter comes along and, you know, sort of ties a balloon to that beam you've been trying to lift and pulls it upwards a little bit, gives a little bit of a help to things to get things moving. If, you know, in general for things that you've been looking at getting going that have been a little bit slow, you can get, because of the Capricorn energy, you can get a bit of a lift from Jupiter. So that's going to kind of help. I don't think Jupiter would add many new problems in any area of life. Tends to sort of help you get stuff done where you've been a little bit stuck, and perhaps provide some opportunities as we go through the signs. We'll sort of describe that. So, you know, Pluto is the crew that comes along and digs up the road because to change the sewers. And then Saturn has been following behind, and he's, they paving over the road. We got to put things back in order. And Jupiter comes along and, paints the little lines on the road and puts the, happy little arrows telling you to make a right turn or whatever. So it is kind of a better take on some of the same issues that have been around for a while. Generally speaking, that's about the worst of it, is that you're going to have to work on things, but you get a little bit more bang for your buck with this. You get a little bit more push for the effort that you put out, and that's a good thing. Okay, so let's talk about the different signs, and we'll start with Capricorn, since Capricorn's already got Saturn, which it's the chart, it's the ruler of Capricorn, so certainly not a bad thing, and then Pluto in the sign. So Capricorn, for you guys, before we get to Capricorn, because I was going to say this for Capricorn, but it's really relevant for everyone. Particularly important over the course of the next year will be the times when Jupiter goes over the Saturn-Pluto conjunction degree at 22 degrees of Capricorn. And that will happen in mid-March, mid-July, and mid-November. See what happens when Jupiter goes into the sign right around December 2nd and 3rd. That will announce the themes. In mid-March, mid-July, and mid-November, it's kind of adding emphasis to triggering, we sometimes say, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, so that will be significant. And then on May 14th and September 12th, when Jupiter stations to retrograde and go direct, you'll have another big burst of the Jupiter and Capricorn energy, but particularly mid-March, mid-July, and mid-November. This is the trigger points for the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Important dates to watch, especially if you're a Capricorn or anybody else. So Capricorn, this energy works for you in just about any area of life. It is whatever you've been dealing with, whatever has not been moving that well for you, or whatever you've been hesitating about and think, well, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. This is the time, just add effort, and things should get going relatively easily. I mean, again, this is not the most hard push you could possibly be getting, but things will start to give way with Jupiter in your sign. So it's a general helpful kind of energy for you. Aquarius. Well, now you guys have a whole different story, because you have you have Saturn and Pluto behind you in the 12th house, sort of over here where you can't see them, sort of tricky demons to have in the 12th house. And Jupiter comes along as a kind of helpful daemon, something that will give you a bit of a push, unseen perhaps. It is luck or good fortune that comes that can maybe sort of ameliorate some of the problems that you've been having, and some of those areas where you've been feeling a little stuck, but not necessarily in the most overt kind of way. In fact, you may not feel that you're stuck in the most overt kind of way. And this will kind of move things along a little bit in those areas of life. It is a rather oblique energy for you, but hey, look, next year Saturn and Jupiter get into your sign, and that will be very direct for you. Pisces, this has a sort of networking, friendship type of thing. It's a great time if you want to join a club of something that you're interested in. It's a great thing if you're doing stuff like politics, if you have a work association and things like that. That will work very well for you. It is it's a helpful energy. It's a sociable energy. If you've been having issues with friends, it can help patch things up. I know it's not the most dramatic energy for you. You'll be fine without the most dramatic energy. Believe me, you're in good stead without the most dramatic energy. Aries have been working. It's a career thing. Aries have been dealing with career issues, if not from 2008, certainly the last couple of years that Saturn has been in Capricorn. This has been a very career-oriented testing time for you. And Jupiter will help. It should open up new opportunities. If you're thinking about maybe changing jobs, changing careers, if you're thinking about maybe even improving things where you are. If you want to put a little bit more effort into your business, you probably think, I can't put in any more effort. This, I've been pushing so much. At least the effort that you put in will get more results for the work that you're doing. I certainly would not say that it's not a vacation time for you, but it is a time when you can at least get some reward for your effort. And that's probably something that you're very, very much looking forward to after a couple of years of really hard work with, not such great rewards for it. Taurus. Okay, so listen, Taurus, this is a ninth house thing for you, and it's, you've already got Saturn and Pluto there. Learning, travel, big picture stuff, okay? Taurus likes to have a practical side to things, so if you're going to learn something, it should be something practical. Now, it would be a great time to entertain ideas about, say, going back and getting a professional degree, getting a professional certification or something like that. It would be a very good time, even if you do something that you just fun, something that you enjoy, something that you love, having a practical side to it that really kind of helps you. So, if it is astrology or yoga or whatever, if you can get a practical earthy side to it, it should feel really good. At any rate, it is a time for expansion of your knowledge base. It is a time for you to sort of open things up. Hey, you've got Uranus in your sign anyway. So it's definitely time for you to open up and experience and experiment and try some new stuff. This is going to kind of help you to do it. It's going to open up avenues for you to do that. I know. Better to sit on the couch and eat a cookie. But if you can't do that, this is next best thing. All right, moving on to the sign of Gemini. This energy hits you very obliquely, Gemini. It is good. It'll be helpful. If you have a lot of debt and you need to pay down debt, this would be a very good time for you to do that. I have a Cancer moon, so I always feel it is a good time for everybody to do that. But certainly, it is a good time for Gemini to be paying down debt. If you need some good debt, if you need a mortgage or maybe a business loan, it's a very good time for that. But be careful, because Saturn and Pluto are still in the sign. And so, there could be some tricky dealings going on over there. So you want to be careful with it. But if you do need it and it's a good, sensible move for you, it should go pretty well. All things being equal. It should help you in these areas. It won't solve problems if you got bad credit and all of that, but it'll help you in those areas. If you've been dealing with all kinds of psychological stuff, if you've been dealing with some of the sort of heaviness of that, I know, Gemini, how you feel about this stuff. If you've been sort of pulled down into that dark psychological realm, then this is something that will help you as well. It should be a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more out of an uplift kind of energy. Maybe it's a good, helpful therapist or counselor or something like that. Maybe it's a good astrologer. Who knows? Cancer. It's a relationship thing for you guys. Now, relationships have been a little bit of a drain for crabs lately. Not only Saturn and Pluto, but the South Node in your house of relationship. A little bit of a drag for you and a bit of a drain. And this should really kind of help that a bit. Okay, this should open up things. Again, you got to work on your relationships. You got to work on making things work better, whether it's a personal relationship or a business partnership or any other thing where you're really dealing with someone on a one-to-one basis, clients even. If you're dealing with them on a one-to-one basis, this should help, but you're going to have to add the effort. Leo. Another kind of oblique energy here, and this is showing up more in the house of work. You're very likely to have more work, and but again, with Pluto and Saturn more recently, a lot of work has been. This is kind of the Leo 9 thing. It's a great time to deal with health issues in the sense, not in the sense of illness and disease, but in the sense of maintaining health. It's a good time for diet. It's a good time for exercise. It's a good time for you to get organized about work, about your health. It's a good time to put the effort in order to sort of stabilize things so that you have a nice firm basis for you to do more fun things. But it is definitely a work kind of orientation for you, and it is a time for you to take good care of yourself. Virgo. Well, you like that, don't you, Virgo? You like all that organization. You like that whole thing. Well, I mean, I know you've got a ton of piles around of all different papers and stuff like that, but you know where everything is, and we've all heard that story. So you just keep doing that because the organization thing is good for you. What this is really good for, what Jupiter in Capricorn is good for, is to help you with creative energy. Okay, this is an opportunity to be a little bit more, take that Virgoan precision and apply it to creativity. Apply it to the thing that you really love to do. It's a work energy. There's no two ways about it. Everybody is working on things, but if you've got some work to do, you have to practice an instrument to play. You have to practice painting. If you're writing, you have to do a lot of it. There's always work involved, and this is a time to do that. Very helpful. And once again, just to be extra redundant again, it's the type of thing where you put in effort and you get a little bit more out of it than you have been getting out of it recently. Put in effort and you don't get such a reward. You put in effort and you get a bit more than usual. Libra. Okay. Home, safety, comfort zone, your actual physical dwelling, your family. Stuff like that, your comfort zone. Well, your comfort zone isn't too comfy when you have Saturn and Pluto in it, is it? No, it's not so comfy. And here comes Jupiter, and Jupiter's kind of like, well, it's like you've got these house guests that are not great, and Jupiter comes in and maybe sort of, is like the friendly neighbor or nice uncle or aunt or whatever who comes over and, keeps them entertained for a little bit while you can, duck into the kitchen to do something. In general, responsibilities for family, responsibilities around the house are likely to be pretty heavy for Libras, and this will offer a little bit of relaxation of those responsibilities. It's a very good time, more than likely to be a very good time for doing home projects. If you have some work to do on the house, whether it's a repair thing or whether it's an adding, expanding type of thing, or whether it is just, doing renovations and making changes and so on, it should be very, very helpful for you. So that's an important consideration for Libras. Yes, you may have more family responsibilities, but it should sort of help with that at least. Scorpio. This is an energy that will not feel for you all that different, I don't think, but it will be kind of good. Now, you're already on terms with Pluto, so that's not such an issue. And since about 2015, 2016 or so, you've been on pretty good terms with Saturn. Going back, I was like 2012. You've been on good when Saturn went through your sign. You've been on kind of terms with Saturn lately. It has not worked all that poorly for you because Saturn and Pluto have been it's a thing. Trust me. So I don't feel that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn has been all that much for you, but it has put pressure in areas of life. And although you're making progress, it is only with a lot of effort. And Saturn and Pluto give you stuff that is just making it hard to feel that things are moving easily. Jupiter will help that. Jupiter will give you a little bit of a bonus. Once again, it is, you apply the effort and you get a little bit more out of it than you've been getting out of it. Now, I know that Scorpios have been dealing with heavy stuff, a lot of it having to do with work and so on. A lot of Scorpios have been dealing with stuff, but I don't feel that it has been something that you can't make any progress. Jupiter is going to help you to get a little bit more out of it. Okay. It's a very good time for you to renovate the daily routine, the simple neighborhoody, going to the supermarket and dry cleaners type of stuff. I know it sounds boring. It sort of is boring, I suppose. Unless you're going to write a book, it's good for that too. But and siblings and stuff. I just say things by the book here. But the thing about it is this: we spend most of our time in that daily routine area of life. You know, we think about relationships, and we think about career, and we think about all of the other stuff. We spend most of our time actually, you know, commuting and, you know, buying food to eat and bringing it home and cooking it. So to pay attention to that area of life will really pay off for Scorpio. Hopefully you'll get a little bit more breathing room on things. And when you get a little bit more breathing room on things and you're able to let go of some of the things that have been weighing you down, it's going to feel good. Sagittarius. Oh, Saggy. Oh, you know, you wait for 12 years for Jupiter to come home and then he's gone. You know, it just goes by so fast, doesn't it? I mean, 2030 will be October 2030 will be here before you know it. And he'll be back in the sign again. And you know, I always feel that, you know, when you're going along having an ordinary day and things take a little bit of a downturn, it's bad. But when you've been flying high and you crash, that's always when it, you know, feels just not that that's going to happen to you. You're going to be fine. It's going to be good. Hey, it's going to be good this way. It's going to be good for finances. It's going to help in the area of finances. That is something that should be, you know, good. And with Pluto and Saturn in your house of finances, you can probably use the help. You got to work for it and so on. But it does feel a bit of a downer. Not since that period of time. I think it was basically 2016, you know, 2015, 2016, when Jupiter was in Virgo, sort of debilitated there, and Saturn was in your sign. That was a heavy year. I don't think we're going to have quite that level of heaviness for you guys this year, but it is a little bit like that. Again, you know, you want things to flow. You want things to just sort of happen. You want the freedom. You want the movement. You want flexibility. And all of those things are a little bit constrained for the next year while Jupiter slogs his way, climbs his way through Capricorn. Put out the effort and accept that this is a little bit of a work-oriented year. It is a year when you're going to have to put out effort for just about everything. But as I've been telling everybody, you will get some rewards. You don't get them for free this time. You get them for your efforts. But hey, put out the effort and it'll work for you. All right, that's what I got for everybody. I hope that you take something out of this. I hope a little bit of it sticks someplace in the unconscious. I hope that it is uplifting enough for you. It's Jupiter in Capricorn, and we're not going to get too uplifting. All right, bye-bye.